Have you ever opened your oven and thought, it's just an oven? How complicated can it be? You turn a dial, it gets hot, and that's basically the whole story. But here's the funny part. Most oven disasters don't come from cooking mistakes, they come from totally normal things people put inside without thinking. And the wild thing is, a lot of these things seem perfectly harmless until the moment they suddenly aren't. So today, let's talk about 3 oven no-goes that almost everyone has done at least once. And no judgment, you'll probably recognize yourself in this video, but that's okay. After this, you'll know exactly what to avoid, and your oven and your home will quietly thank you. But first, let me hook you with this. Imagine someone preheating their oven like any normal day, walking away to wash their hands, and suddenly hearing a sharp pop, followed by the sound of tiny pieces raining down like glass confetti. Or imagine opening your oven door and seeing a melted plastic puddle fuse to the rack like some kind of modern art sculpture. Or, even better, imagine thinking you're protecting your oven from spills by putting down aluminum foil, only to learn later that you've actually caused internal damage, the kind that isn't covered by the warranty. And the best part, all 3 of these disasters can happen in a completely ordinary kitchen. They don't care whether you're a careful person, whether you clean your oven regularly, or whether you cook once a week. They just happen. So let's walk through these things together. The first thing you should never put in your oven is plastic. Any plastic. This includes containers, lids, spatulas, takeout boxes, and even those microwave-safe things people assume are also oven-safe. And here's the thing, ovens don't gently warm plastic. Ovens aggressively melt plastic. They turn it into a soft, sticky puddle that drips through the racks, fumes up the air, and binds itself to everything it touches like glue. When plastic melts, the fumes don't just disappear, they cling to the metal surfaces inside your oven and can make your food taste strange for weeks. The scary part is that these fumes don't smell as strong as you'd expect. So people often continue baking, breathing in the chemicals without realizing anything is wrong. If this ever happens to someone, the instinct is usually to grab a spatula and scrape everything off while it's still warm. But that's exactly what you shouldn't do. The smart move is to turn the oven off, let everything cool down completely, and only then, very gently remove what's left. Otherwise, you risk spreading the melted plastic even deeper into the enamel, where it becomes practically impossible to remove. Some people also try reheating the oven to burn it off, but that only releases more chemicals. So really, the simplest rule is, if it has even the slightest connection to plastic, it stays out of the oven forever. The second oven danger is something nearly every household has done at least once, putting aluminum foil on the bottom of the oven. And I get it. On paper, it makes perfect sense. Catch the drips, avoid the mess, save yourself an hour of scrubbing. The problem is that ovens don't heat evenly when foil is at the bottom. Instead, the foil reflects heat in unpredictable ways, creating hot spots that can spike the temperature far above what the dial says. That can warp the oven's metal, damage the heating elements, or even trigger the oven's safety shutoff. And here's something people rarely realize. If the foil touches the bottom heating element, it can fuse itself to the enamel coating of the oven floor. Once that happens, it becomes part of the oven. There's no peeling it off, no dissolving it, it's just forever stuck there, altering how your oven heats and how your food cooks. Instead of foil, the safer choice is to put a baking sheet on a lower rack. It catches all the drips, it doesn't damage anything, and it actually helps with heat distribution. Some people even use silicone oven liners designed for high temperatures, which is the only type of liner that's safe. But anything homemade, improvised, or foil-based, just skip it. Now, let's talk about wet or cold cookware. This one is sneaky because it feels harmless. You rinse a glass baking dish, towel it off quickly, and pop it into the oven. Or you take a ceramic tray from a cool pantry and slide it into a hot oven because dinner needs to get moving. The problem here is something called thermal shock. Ovens heat up fast, and glass or ceramic doesn't always expand at the same speed. When the inside of the dish heats much faster than the outside, the pressure becomes uneven. And that's the moment you hear the pop. It's an unmistakable sound, sharp, sudden, A little scary, followed by the dish bursting into tiny shards. People always think this only happens in movies, until they're sweeping up glitter-sized pieces of glass from every corner of their oven. Even glass labeled oven safe can shatter if it's exposed to sudden extremes. For example, taking a cold dish from the fridge and putting it directly into a preheated oven is a recipe for disaster. The safest way is to let glass warm gradually. Either bring it to room temperature or place it in the oven before preheating. And definitely avoid placing something wet on hot surfaces. A single drop of water under a hot dish can create enough uneven pressure to crack the whole thing. What's common in all these mistakes is that people don't make them because they're careless. They make them because they're trying to make cooking easier, faster, or cleaner. And honestly, who doesn't want that? No one wakes up and thinks, "Let me ruin my oven today." But small habits, putting down foil, using whatever container is nearby, sliding in a damp dish, can slowly create risks you don't even notice until something dramatic happens. The good news is that avoiding these problems is incredibly simple. If it's plastic, it stays out. If it's foil on the bottom, skip it. And if it's glass or ceramic, let it warm up slowly or make sure it's dry. These tiny steps keep your oven healthy for years and keep your home safe. And honestly, learning this now saves you a lot of headaches later, and possibly the cost of a brand new oven. Most people don't think about their oven as something delicate, but modern ovens are built with very specific heat patterns. When something interferes with that pattern, foil, melted plastic, or a shattered dish, it can affect everything from cooking times to energy use. And the worst part is that once an oven gets damaged, people often don't know what caused it. They think it was just old age, when really, it was a simple habit repeated over and over. So if you've ever done any of these things, don't feel bad, almost everyone has. But from today, you know better. And kitchens don't come with warnings printed on the walls, so a little information goes a long way.